Every year, people ask the same question. Do I need a CPA? Or can I just use TurboTax? And here's our honest answer. For some people, TurboTax is fine. For others, it's the most expensive mistake they will ever make. Let me show you instead of tell you which side you're on before you file. The problem isn't TurboTax. The problem is the people using it when they don't understand their own tax situation. TurboTax doesn't decide anything for you. You do. It just asks questions and file whatever answers you give it. Correct answers, correct return. Wrong answers, wrong return. With your signature on it. TurboTax is designed for a very specific person. You might be a good fit if you have just a W-2, have one job, no side business, no 1099 income, no stock sales, no rental properties, no major life changes. In other words, your taxes look exactly like last year. For this group, TurboTax can be cheap, fast, totally reasonable, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem starts when people outgrow TurboTax and keep using it anyways. This usually happens quietly. Things like you start freelancing on the side, you receive a 1099, you sell stock or crypto, you work with 2 states, you get health insurance through the marketplace, you start a small business. Each of these adds complexity. TurboTax doesn't warn you. It gives you boxes to click. People love to say TurboTax asked me about that, but that doesn't mean it got handled correctly. TurboTax only works if you understand the question. For example, is this income subject to self-employment tax? If you don't understand the difference between employee income and business income, your answer might be wrong. And even if you're being honest, the software doesn't know. It trusts you. CPAs don't usually just file tax return. They interpret what type of income is earned, how should it be reported, what forms apply, and what should not be done. And they usually ask question, why did this change? Where did this income come from? What are you trying to accomplish in the long term? TurboTax doesn't ask why. It only asks how much. Here's where people fool themselves. TurboTax might cost $100, $200, to $300. A CPA might cost $500, $1,000, or even over $2,000. People look at the difference and they think the software is cheaper, but that's only true if the return is correct. One missed deduction, one reporting error, one audit letter, and TurboTax becomes very expensive. People assume that if I use TurboTax, I won't get audited. That's false. The IRS doesn't care what software you use. Audit comes from mismatched income, missing forms, reporting patterns, ratios that don't make sense. TurboTax cannot defend your position. A CPA can, because they understand why it was done. If you're self-employed, TurboTax is not bad, but it is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, because you're deciding what's income, what's an expense, what's personal, what's business. Those judgment call matters. A CPA challenges your assumption. Software doesn't. That's why self-employed people feel blindsided later. You should strongly consider a CPA if you have a Schedule C income. You receive multiple 1099s, you sold assets, you move states, you run payroll, you owe back taxes, you're behind on filing, you want to reduce taxes legally going forward. At this point, software savings become false economy. The question isn't, can TurboTax file my return? It can file anything. The real question is, do I understand my taxes well enough to know if what I'm filing is correct? If the answer is no, don't outsource judgment to a software. TurboTax is a tool, a CPA is a filter. One records, the other interprets. Using the wrong one at the wrong stage creates expensive problems later. If your taxes are simple, TurboTax will do the job. If your taxes are changing, late, or confusing, that's when professional help usually pays for itself. If you want clear tax explanations so that you know when software works and when it doesn't, subscribe here. This channel teaches you how taxes actually work so that you stop guessing every April.